At 70 years old, Mary thought she'd spend her final days in the home she'd built with her late husband, surrounded by memories and the laughter of her grandchildren. But her daughter, Sarah, and her husband, Tom, had other plans. One rainy Tuesday, they sat her down at the kitchen table, their faces a mixture of pity and impatience. "Mom," Sarah began, "we need the space. The kids are getting bigger. We found a nice retirement home for you." "It's for the best." Mary's heart sank. A retirement home? She wasn't sick. She was just old. Tom chimed in, his voice slick. "It's all arranged. We'll help you pack a few things tomorrow." They didn't even ask. They told her. That night, Mary couldn't sleep. She looked around at the walls that held a lifetime of her stories. The worn armchair where her husband used to read, the crayon marks on the baseboard from when Sarah was a toddler. They weren't just kicking her out of a house. They were erasing her. The next morning, as Sarah and Tom started putting her life into boxes, Mary made a decision. She wouldn't go to their nice retirement home. She had a secret, a little nest egg she'd been saving for decades, tucked away from everyone, even her late husband. It was her independence fund for a rainy day. Well, it was pouring. With a small suitcase of clothes and her life savings, Mary quietly slipped out the back door. She took a bus to the edge of the county, to a rural area she'd always admired. There, she found a small, neglected plot of land for sale with a dilapidated cottage on it. It was perfect. She bought it outright, the cash surprising the real estate agent. The first few months were tough. The cottage needed a new roof, the windows were drafty, and the land was overgrown with weeds. But Mary had never been afraid of hard work. She hired a local handyman to fix the essentials, and spent her days clearing the land, her hands, though wrinkled, still strong from a lifetime of gardening. She planted vegetables, set up a chicken coop, and bought a couple of goats. The local community was wary at first, but a young boy from the neighboring farm, Leo, started coming over. He was fascinated by her stories and her grit. He'd help her with heavy lifting, and in return, Mary would share her fresh eggs and teach him about planting. Slowly but surely, Mary's little plot of land transformed into a thriving hobby farm. She started selling her organic vegetables, fresh eggs, and goat milk at the local farmers market. Her produce became famous for its quality and taste. People called her Granny Mary, and her stall was always the busiest. She was happier than she'd been in years, finding a new purpose and a new family in her neighbors. Back in the city, Sarah and Tom's life wasn't going as planned. Tom lost his high-paying job, and they were struggling to keep the house. They'd sold most of Mary's furniture, but the money ran out quickly. They had no idea where Mary had gone. They'd reported her missing, but since she left voluntarily and was of sound mind, there was nothing the police could do. They assumed she was living on the streets, a nagging guilt they tried to ignore. One day, desperate for work, Tom answered an ad for a farmhand needed just outside the county. The pay was decent, and he was out of options. When he arrived for the interview, he couldn't believe his eyes. The owner of the bustling and beautiful Granny Mary's farm was his mother-in-law. She looked 10 years younger, her face tanned by the sun, her eyes sparkling with life. Mary sat behind a simple wooden desk, an amused smile playing on her lips. "Tom," she said calmly, "looking for a job, are you?" He was speechless, stammering apologies, trying to explain. Mary held up a hand. "I don't need your excuses. I need someone to muck out the goat pen and till the back field. The job is yours if you want it. You'll be paid weekly, just like everyone else, but you'll work for it. And you will call me Ms. Mary." Swallowing his pride, Tom took the job. The work was grueling, far harder than any office job he'd ever had. He saw firsthand the empire Mary had built from nothing. He saw the respect she commanded and the community that adored her. He saw how she mentored young Leo, treating him with the kindness and patience she'd once shown Sarah. The guilt ate at him every single day. A few weeks later, Sarah drove out to the farm. She'd heard from a red-faced Tom about where her mother was. She stormed up to Mary, her voice shrill. "How could you? We were worried sick. You have all this, and you never even called?" Mary looked at her daughter, her gaze steady. "Worried? Or worried you wouldn't get your inheritance? You kicked me out of my home, Sarah. You wanted to put me away to be forgotten. I wasn't going to let that happen. I built this life for myself, without you. This farm, this community. This is my home now." Sarah tried to argue, to cry, to manipulate, but Mary was unmoved. The woman who stood before her was not the meek mother she had discarded. This was a woman forged in resilience. "You made your choice, Sarah," Mary said, her voice soft but firm. "Now you have to live with it. I suggest you go home." Defeated, Sarah left, leaving her husband to finish his work in the goat pen. Mary continued to run her farm for many more happy years. Tom eventually quit, unable to face her every day, and found another job. He and Sarah had to sell the big house and move into a small apartment, a constant reminder of their greed. Young Leo, however, never left Mary's side. He became the son she never had, learning everything about the farm and about life from her. When Mary finally passed away peacefully in her sleep at the age of 90, she left the entire farm, her home, her business, everything to him. In her will, she left Sarah and Tom $1 each, along with a note. It read, "This is for the nice retirement home. I hope you find one for yourselves one day. It's for the best." Mary had the last laugh, a testament to the fact that it's never too late to build a new life. And true wealth isn't in a house, but in the strength of your own spirit.